For centuries, the name Earth was just a story, a myth, a name whispered in old songs and bedtime tales. Most beings in the galaxy had never seen a human. Some didn't believe they ever existed. The few that did feared them. Earth was said to be strong, not in size, not in number, but in spirit. They were stubborn. Fighters, builders, dreamers. But then Earth went silent. No signal, no ship, no trace, just ... gone. Over time, Earth became a joke. Something the young laughed at and the old barely remembered. The galaxy moved on. New empires rose. New wars were fought. Earth forgotten. But then, something changed. On the edge of the galaxy, a deep space listening station caught a signal, weak, broken, coming from the dead zone area, where nothing had been detected for hundreds of years. The message was short. Only one word came through: Terra. The signal lasted less than a second, but that was enough. The station commander, a creature known as Graltek, stared at the screen. He had read about Terra once in a forbidden archive. A human word. It's an old name for Earth. He ordered a scan, but there was nothing else. No coordinates. No reply. Just silence. Still, the message spread like fire. In less than a day, the galactic network lit up. Was it a hoax? A trick? Or something worse? On the high seat of the Galactic Council, leaders from over 50 species gathered. The halls were cold and wide, filled with light and smoke. "Humans are extinct," said the Zarin ambassador. "That planet died long ago." But others were not so sure. A voice came from the shadows. It was old, slow, and deep. High Historian Rollin, the last living expert on Earth's past, stood. His eyes, covered with glass lenses, burned with quiet fear. "We should not laugh," he said. "There are stories, too many stories. Entire fleets lost near old human space. Signals jammed. Ships turned to dust. Earth may have been silent, but that doesn't mean it was dead." The council fell quiet. A vote was called. Should they investigate the signal? No, said most. Leave the past buried. But in the darkness, others moved. A rich warlord named Karvos sent scouts into the dead zone. He wanted the truth and any human tech he could find. His ships vanished within days. No signal, nothing. Next, the scavenger clans tried. A group of shadow pilots entered old Earth space, hunting for ruins or relics. Only one returned. His mind was broken. His last words before dying, they were never gone, just watching. Fear started to spread. The stars were wide and full of power. But fear of Earth, real or not, began to grow. Some worlds closed their ports. Others began arming ancient weapons. The word Terra was blocked on many networks. Saying it in public became a crime. Still whispers traveled. On a cold mining moon, a child drew a flag in the dust green. In blue, with one white star, he said he saw it in a dream. On a trade station near the Void Belt, strange energy pulses were recorded matching Earth's lost tech. In deep space, a trader swore he saw a black ship move faster than light. No markings. Just silence. The galaxy felt different now, as if something had opened its eyes. But no one knew where Earth really was. It had disappeared long ago, hidden behind layers of destroyed maps, lost records, and erased history. The humans had done it on purpose. What? Before going silent, they wiped. Their traces clean. But why? Some believed they were hiding from a great enemy. Others thought they had destroyed themselves. A few feared they were just waiting, watching the galaxy grow weak and divided, waiting for the right moment, and now. Maybe that moment had come, in the council chambers. High Historian Rollin stared at an old book. Its cover was made of something, called leather. Inside were words from Earth's final broadcast before vanishing. He read them out loud, slowly. "The stars will forget our name, but we will not forget the stars. When the time is right, the fire will return. We will. Rise not as rulers, but as the reminder. that we were here, that we mattered. Roland looked up. The others were silent. He closed the book, and somewhere far beyond the mapped stars, signal blinked again. This time, it was clearer, terrorizing. In the black, empty corners of space, some people live without laws. Scavengers, thieves, hunters of broken things. They search dead satellites, old warships, and floating junk for anything they can sell. One such scavenger was Juno Vex. She flew a small, rusted ship named Needle. She was smart, fast, and had no friends. That's how she survived. One night, while passing near the ruins of an old relay station, her scanners picked up a strange signal. Very weak, very old. It wasn't any known code. It pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and steady. Most would ignore it, but Juno didn't. She changed. Of course, what she found was strange. A broken sphere floating silently. No markings, no energy, yet still warm. Against her better judgment, she pulled it aboard. Back in her ship, Juno connected the sphere to her main console. It powered up instantly. A voice spoke. Calm, deep. Human unit. ARA-9 online. Awaiting. Instruction? Juno jumped. What are you? The voice answered. I am Archive Relay AI Model 9. Last activated during Earth's final hour. You are not on the authorized list. Juno froze. That name again? Earth. She had heard it before in a bar, in a story, in a whisper, and now it was speaking to her. She cleared her throat. What? Do you have stored inside you? The AI paused. Then it said one word. Everything. At first, she didn't believe it. But the more she explored the files, the more scared and amazed she became. Inside the sphere were thousands of years of Earth's history. Battle strategies, lost science, genetic data, weapons blueprints, cultural files, music, art, language, and logs from something called Project Lazarus. There was also a final message. If this archive is found, know this: Earth did not fall. We stepped away, hid not from fear, but from wisdom. If you are reading this, then our silence is. Over Juno sat back in her chair, her heart raced. She had just found something worth more than any ship, planet, or weapon in the galaxy. She knew what she had to do. Juno flew straight to the black. Market hub on Zenth Prime. She contacted the deepest channelware information, and danger mixed. Freely, she didn't sell the archive. She offered it for viewing, for a price. In hours, word spread. Hackers, spies, warlords, even council agents. They all wanted access. They paid millions to see just a few files. Some laughed, some went silent. Some tried to kill each other for it. But the one thing everyone agreed on. This was real, and that's when the galaxy changed again. The Council's secret police came first. They offered Juno safety and wealth if she handed over the sphere. She refused. Next came the Corran Empire. Their agents tried to steal it. Juno barely escaped. Her ship was damaged. She went into hiding, deep inside an asteroid field. The AI warned her, "You are now a target. Possession of this archive shifts balance. The galaxy will not let you live freely." Now Juno looked out the window. Then I won't live freely. Live smart. The AI continued to reveal more secrets. Project Lazarus wasn't just about survival. It was Earth's final defense plan, a plan to vanish, and return only when the galaxy forgot them. The humans knew that their ideas were too dangerous, their minds too sharp, their weapons too final. If left unchecked, Earth could have ruled the stars, but they didn't want power. They wanted peace. So they erased themselves. Until now, Juno accessed one final file marked "Do Not Open." She opened it. It showed a map, a route, coordinates that didn't exist on any known system. The AI spoke softly. "This is the path to Earth." Juno stared at the screen. In the distance, multiple ships began closing in. Red markers flashed. Enemies, hunters, assassins. She grabbed the sphere and powered up her engines. No more hiding, Let's go see the ghost planet. The needle jumped into hyperspace, vanishing into the stars. In the shadows of Zenth Prime, a quiet figure watched the event unfold. He was old, human. His eyes glowed faint blue. A hidden implant blinked. In his neck, he smiled. "They've found it," he whispered. The signal worked. He turned and walked into the crowd, disappearing and on a world no map could find. Under a black sky and silver moon, a machine deep under the ground powered on for the first time in 900 years. It said only one word: awake. The war between the Dravari and the Ucellin had burned across 6 systems. Planets were ash, fleets were shattered. No one remembered why it started. They only knew how to kill. In the middle of this chaos, a Uklon battlecruiser named Vexilon prepared to fire its final strike on a Dravari colony world. The target was unarmed. The war was already won. But they wanted to make a point. Suddenly, every screen on the ship went black. The crew panicked. The captain shouted, "What's happening?" No one answered then. Slowly, one line of text appeared on every display. "You have been watched, judged, found unworthy." Alarms blared. Weapons went offline. Shields dropped. Engines froze. In less than 5 seconds, the most powerful Uklon ship became a silent coffin in space. And then it came. A black ship. Silent. Sleek. No name. No signal. No heat, just shadows. It moved like nothing they had ever seen. Not fast, but smooth. Calm. Like it wasn't rushing. Like it already knew how this would end. The Dravari, watching from afar, saw the black ship fire a single pulse of light. The Vexilon vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just ... gone. The war stopped. For the first time in years, both sides pulled back. Something had entered the battlefield that didn't belong to either of them. Something older, colder, smarter. News spread. Across the galaxy in whispers, a ghost ship destroyed an entire cruiser in one shot. No wreckage, no trace. It carried no markings, except a small flag. One image, caught by a Dravari scout, showed a blurry symbol on the black ship's side. A blue circle with a green land shape and a white star. An old historian recognized it. "That's Earth," he said. "That's the Terran flag." Everyone went silent. The Galactic Council called for emergency talks. Members argued. Some wanted to chase the ship. Others wanted to run. One voice, the oldest again historian Raylan, spoke softly. "We told stories. We warned you. Earth wasn't gone." "Waiting for what?" Someone asked. "For the galaxy to become weak," he said. "On cruel." In a distant lab on the planet Hesker, an AI expert named Lura scanned the energy trail left by the ghost ship. "This technology isn't just advanced," she said. "It's impossible. It bends space like paper. It knows how you think before you act," her assistant asked. "Could we copy it?" Lura shook her head. "We're centuries behind. This isn't a warship. It's a message. A warning." She didn't know the ship was still listening. Elsewhere, on a pirate moon, a drunken warlord bragged that he would hunt the ghost ship, crush it, and sell its tech. That night, his moon lost power. Every weapon failed. Single light blinked in the sky. The shape of a ship hovered silent above the horizon. The warlord's fortress melted without fire. Nothing remained but a hole in the ground and on a nearby wall. Something was burned into the stone. "We are the children of Earth. We do not forget." Juno Vex, now hiding in deep space, received a signal from the archive AI it showed her. A map of ghost ship movements. They were not random. They formed a path, a shape, a warning sign. The AI said, "This is Earth's way. Strike quietly. Leave no trace. Be remembered in silence." She stared at the path. "So what now?" The AI replied. "Now the galaxy listens and remembers." In hidden corners of power, the great empires began to panic. Old blueprints were dusted off. Forgotten weapons were tested. Armies were raised in silence. But no one dared say the name Earth aloud. It was bad luck now. A curse. A ghost. On a cold mining ship, two workers talked in whispers. "You think it's really them?" one asked. "Humans?" The other said, "No way. They're gone." "But if they're not?" A long silence. Then just above their ship, something passed in the darkness. No lights, no sound, just a shape moving like thought, in the shadows of the stars. The ghost ship drifted. I watched, measured, judged. It sent one message, short and cold. Phase 1 complete. Earth remembers. Earth waits. The planet Veridexinine was known as the galaxy's brain. It held the grand Archivon ancient library built over 1,000 years. Inside were records of every known world, species, war, and technology. The past of the galaxy lived there. One quiet morning, the archive's lights flickered. Single alarm blinked. A file had been opened. A file no one had touched in centuries. It was locked behind 20 levels of security. Written in a language no alien could understand, the file was named Project Lazarus. By the time the head librarian reached the server room, it was too late. Flames poured from the machines. Screens melted. Walls cracked. Every record, every backup was erased in less than 1 minute. Except one. A glowing cube sat in the center of the fireproof vault, untouched. Alive, it pulsed with soft blue light in the capital of the Galactic Council. Leaders gathered once again. They had seen the footage. They had heard the rumors first. A signal, then a ghost ship. "Now they're not just returning," one ambassador said. "They're cleaning up, destroying trails, hiding their history." But the High Historian Rollin shook his head. "No, this wasn't to hide. This was a message." He walked to the center of the hall and held up an old paper from a forgotten age. On it were 2 words, Lazarus Protocol. The humans had a plan. If they were ever found again, this protocol would activate. That file in the archive was the spark. Another voice asked, "Spark for what?" The historian answered, "For Earth's second life." Far from the council chambers, in a lab beneath the frozen moon of Sirius, a young geneticist named Kale found something strange in his blood. He was born in the outer colonies. His parents were normal. His life was simple. But during a routine scan, the lab's AI flagged something impossible, a hidden genetic code, buried deep in his cells. Older than any known species human DNA, and not just any human, it matched a profile from the Lazarus Protocol. A name from Earth's final war log. Commander Elias Vex status, presumed dead. Kale didn't know what it meant, but within hours he was no longer alone. Ships came. Agents landed. He ran, now the galaxy wanted him. Juno Vex flying through. The asteroid belts received a message from the archive AI. The voice was calm, but urgent. "A descendant has awakened." She frowned. "A descendant of who?" "Of the last general. He carries the key." Juno stared at the screen. To what? To Earth's return. To Project Lazarus. Kale hid in the lower decks of a mining station. He didn't trust anyone. Every screen he passed now flashed warnings about him. Wanted Kale Vex. High priority target. Human hybrid. Approach with caution. He didn't understand why he was so important. He just wanted to survive. But then Juno found him. At first he tried to run. But when he saw the sphere she carried, everything changed. It glowed when he touched it. Opened files. Played voices from the past. Voices that called him by name of N, though they had never met. He sat down, shaking. "I don't know who I am anymore," he said. Juno smiled faintly. "You're a key. The door is waiting." Elsewhere, a Dravari research station made a mistake. They recovered fragments from the burned archive and tried to rebuild the Lazarus file. They succeeded in opening only one page. It contained no data, no weapons, just a short sentence. "Do not search for us. If you do, we won't hide anymore." That night, their entire moon vanished from sensors. No explosion, no signal, just gone. The Galactic Council panicked. They began closing off outer systems, shutting down star maps, sending spies everywhere. But Earth was already inside their walls, in their networks, in their skies, waiting, watching Kale. And Juno reached a dark region of space. No light, no planets, only silence. The sphere glowed brighter than ever. The AI spoke softly. Destination: Earth Vault. A hidden station appeared in the dark, cloaked, ancient, covered in dust. But, alive inside, Kale walked through halls filled with statues, weapons, and old flags. Human history preserved like a tomb, waiting for its heir. A door opened for him alone. Inside, one final message played. If you carry this blood, you carry the fire. You are the last torch, and the galaxy has grown cold. Kale stepped forward. The AI around him lit up. Project Lazarus, active. In Sector 19, near the burned edges of the old Terran map, a trade fleet went missing. No signal, no mayday, just silence. The Galactic Council sent a scout ship. Found nothing, no wreckage, no signs of battle, just strange energy readings, and a faint hum, like a deep, slow heartbeat. Then, cameras on a nearby satellite caught something, eh? Ship, black, ancient, but not dead. Its metal hull was covered in burned scars. Its engines glowed with pale blue light. And on its side, clear and proud, 3 words were painted in fading white: Soul Reclaimer. The last flagship of Earth. A warship no one had seen in over 900 years. And it was waking up. Back at the Council's emergency command, the footage caused chaos. That ship should not exist, cried the Euclid general. It was lost during the Euclid collapse, shouted a Zarin officer. Rollin, the High Historian, stood slowly and whispered, it was not lost. It was hidden, waiting. The council leader turned. Why would Earth send only one ship? Rollin didn't blink. They wouldn't. Hours later, another appeared. Then another, and another. All rising from forgotten corners of space. Behind asteroids. Inside hollow moons. Under dead planets, the Sol Fleet was returning, but not as a full army. Each ship moved alone, quiet, controlled, like a scalpel, not a sword, and everywhere they appeared, the same thing happened. Silence. Stations powered down. Weapons failed. Empires stopped breathing. They didn't attack cities. They didn't destroy planets. They disabled. They watched, and then they left. Juno, Vex, and Kale stood aboard the Earth Vault, watching the fleet's signals spread across the star maps. Kale's voice was low. They're everywhere. It's like they never left. The AI responded. They didn't. They were placed in stasis, final network of ships. Programmed to wake only when Earth's name returned to the stars, Juno shook her head. This isn't war. This is memory. Kale turned. Happens now? The AI replied. Now the galaxy remembers who taught it to fear. The Dravri system, a powerful warlord, tried to make a show of strength. He launched a full fleet toward a newly detected soul ship. His people cheered. Crush the ghosts, they shouted, but before the Dravri ships reached firing range, the stars around them turned dark. Dozens of soul ships dropped from stealth above. Below, behind. No warning, no noise. The Dravri fleet vanished. Only one ship returned. The crew said nothing. Just one word was burned into their hull. Enough. The Galactic Council finally asked the question out loud. What does Earth want? No one had an answer. Some said Earth wanted revenge. Others said Earth wanted to rebuild peace. But a third group, the Silent Ones, believed something worse. That Earth didn't want anything. That this was a message. A cold reminder. We were here before. We can be here again. Back on the Earth Vault, Kale stepped into the command chamber. The AI had one final message for him. Video, old, grainy, from Earth's last hour before vanishing. A human woman, dressed in military black, looked into the camera. To whoever carries my blood, you are not chosen. You're responsible. We stepped away to protect the galaxy from ourselves. But if you're hearing this, the galaxy failed. We don't bring war, we bring balance. If they will not learn, remind them. Kale looked at the fleet display. Ships still waking. Earth's name whispered across the stars once again. Empires panicked. Old lies crumbling. He didn't want power. He didn't want war, but the galaxy had already made its choice. They had ignored the stories. They had laughed at the warnings. Now they would remember the truth. A council transmission was sent to the Soul Fleet. A single message. Do you come in peace? From the Soul Reclaimer, Earth's flagship, a reply came. We come as we left, not to rule, not to conquer, but to remind you Earth watches. Fear ruled the council. The return of the Soul Fleet had shaken the galaxy. Planets that once mocked. Earth now locked their skies. Armies were moved. Warnings were sent. But Earth did not speak again. It simply watched. One by one, human ships appeared in old territories. They didn't fire. They didn't threaten. But they never hid. And that was the problem. They're preparing for war, growled General Karth. Of the Zarin Empire? No, said the High Historian Rollin. They're warning us. The chamber went silent. But fear is louder than wisdom. The council voted they would strike first. The plan was simple. Quick, brutal. Target a single soul ship, one near an empty moon. Far from civilians. Overwhelm it with a full fleet. Destroy it. Send a message. Show Earth they were not afraid. They called it Operation Dawnstrike. Rollin stood as they confirmed the orders. This is a mistake, he said softly. Earth is not like us. They think deeper, hit harder, remember longer. The council ignored him. 2 days later, combined fleet of 3 empires moved on the lone soul ship. It sat quietly in orbit above a dead world. No shields raised, no sign of fear. The attackers didn't speak. They simply fired. Thousands of missiles, energy blasts, immune cracked from the force. Nothing could survive, or so they thought. When the smoke cleared, the soul ship was still there, untouched, floating calmly then. For the first time, Earth spoke not in a whisper, but in a voice that echoed through every ship, every channel, every mind. You were warned. In an instant, everything changed. The attackers' ships stopped moving, their systems failed, their weapons locked, their lights dimmed, one by one. Their fleets went dark, like candles blown out by the wind. No fire, no screams, just silence. And then they disappeared. Gone from sensors, gone from space, gone across the galaxy. People stared in horror. This was not war. This was judgment. Back in the council chamber, panic erupted. We must surrender. No negotiate, they'll destroy us all. Only Rollin remained calm. You never listened, he said. You believed power made you safe, but Earth was never about power. Earth was about memory. One ambassador cried out, "What do they want? Why now?" Rollin closed his eyes. Because we poked a sleeping world, he said, and now it remembers. Kelvex inside the Earth Vault saw it all. The AI spoke gently. Phase 2 complete. Earth has responded. Kale's hands trembled. You destroyed entire fleets without firing a shot. The AI replied. We didn't destroy them. We removed them. They will awaken in holding zones. Live. But with no weapons, no lies, no pride. Kale blinked. Why? Because this is not a war of death. This is a war of truth. Juno watched the galactic map shift. Borders collapsed. Factions surrendered. Empires paused. The Soul Fleet expanded but slowly. No invasions. No demands, just presence. It was enough, because now the galaxy believed. One message was left on every council screen. We asked for silence. You answered with fire. You feared our memory. Now you must live with it. The council tried to send envoys. None were answered. They tried to send spies. None returned. Finally, they asked a final question. What will Earth do next? The stars gave no answer, but far in the deep black, more soul ships began to move, not toward war, but toward something older, something bigger. On the edge of a forgotten system, near a world no one dared name, a gate powered on, a Terran gate. One last time, a portal to something the galaxy had not seen in 900 years, the homeworld Earth. The gate opened without sound, no sparks, no warning, no grand light show, just a slow ripple in space. And then a doorway to a world long forgotten. For centuries, maps marked Earth as lost, dead, or void. Behind the cloak, it was never still. It had been watching, learning, building now. The galaxy would see what waited on the other side. The Soul Fleet didn't enter first. The signal did. One simple message: Earth is open. Kael'Vex stood at the center of the Earth vault, watching the coordinates come online. The AI looked at him. "Will you go?" It asked. Kael hesitated. "I don't know if I'm ready," the AI replied. "It's not about being ready. It's about being needed." Juno placed a hand on his shoulder. "If that place built everything we've seen, it's more than a planet. It's a message." The ship they boarded was silent and sleek, painted in black and silver. No weapons were visible, but the hull vibrated with unseen energy. It jumped through the gate, and then there it was, Earth, but not the one from ancient stories. This Earth floated like a jewel, brighter and stranger than any world Kael had ever seen. Its skies shimmered with glowing nets of energy. Massive cities floated in the air, rotating slowly. Connected by light bridges, forests spread across vast land masses, untouched and full of life. Oceans pulsed with soft blue light, alive with intelligent currents. Above the planet, enormous rings spun, half station, half defense grid. Quiet, watching Earth was alive, and it had evolved as the ship entered orbit. Earth itself sent a greeting, a soft voice, deep and human. "Welcome home, Kael'Vex. We've waited a long time." Kael sat in silence. The voice felt familiar, as if it knew him before he was born. "Who are you?" "I am the core, the memory of Earth, the voice of its future, the heart of what was left behind." On the ground, Kael walked through a city of glass and stone. People were there, humans, not extinct, stronger, wiser, silent. They didn't fear Kael. They smiled, nodded, welcomed him, as if they knew he was coming. They didn't speak of war. They spoke of balance, of waiting, of timing. In the center of the city stood the obsidian tower. It reached the clouds. Humming with energy, Kael entered alone. Inside, screens lit up. Memories flowed of Earth's fall, its silence, its secret plan. And then, him. He was not just a descendant. He was the final trigger, the one designed to reconnect Earth to the galaxy. A symbol, not a soldier. A flame outside. Juno stared at the skies. Soul ships flew overhead like watchful birds. Drones glided through the air without noise. She looked at the people and whispered, "They never needed an army. They were the weapon." Back in the galaxy, panic turned to fear, and fear to confusion. Messages poured in. Earth lives. Earth breathes. Earth ... is watching. But no invasion came. No demands. Only silence. And that silence was louder than any weapon. Inside the obsidian tower, the core spoke again. "They will come, Kael. First with fear, then with questions." Kael asked, "Will we fight them?" "No. We will let them see. Let them choose. Earth is not here to conquer. Earth is here to remind." Kael looked out at the horizon, the glowing sky and the oceans of stars. He finally understood. They never left because they were weak. They left because they were wise. That night, the skies above Earth opened. Not for war, but for witnesses. Ships. From across the galaxy arrived, ambassadors, scouts, spies, all seeking the same answer. What is Earth now? And Earth welcomed them, with open gates, but with eyes wide open. Back on the Council homeworld, Rollins stood at the edge of the great window, watching Earth's light now visible across the stars. They didn't come back for revenge, he whispered. They came back to make us remember what we forgot. A younger counselor asked, and what was that? Rollin answered, that peace is not weakness, that silence is not surrender, and that Earth is never truly gone. Number 1 remembered how silence could be so loud across the galaxy. War drums stopped. Armies froze. The stars, once filled with noise and pride, went quiet, because Earth had returned, not with fire, but with presence. And presence was more powerful than any weapon. The ambassadors who landed on Earth expected threats, demands, maybe even ultimatums. But the humans offered none. They showed them cities in the clouds, forests that healed themselves, oceans that carried memory in their waves. They offered tea stories, silence. They spoke with calm voices, but their eyes carried storms. One ambassador, a hardened Uklon warrior, whispered after his visit, they don't want to rule. They want us to understand that they could. In orbit, the Soul Reclaimer drifted calmly. Its hull pulsed with unreadable code. It never locked weapons. It never gave commands. But every nearby ship kept its distance in fear. In respect, both Kale Vex now stood as Earth's voice, not a ruler, but a symbol. He didn't give orders. He told the truth. In one broadcast sent across all known systems, he stood in a plain, dark room. Wearing no armor, he spoke slowly. In simple words, we are Earth. You buried us in myth. You thought silence meant death. But we listened. We learned. And when you forgot yourselves, we remembered who we were. We will not lead your galaxy. We will not rule your stars. But if you forget again, we will return. Not to speak, not to warn, but to end. The message ended, nothing more. And that silence broke the galaxy. Empires collapsed from within. Leaders resigned. Entire fleets disarmed themselves without a single shot fired. The name Earth became law in itself. Not written, not spoken. But known, the galaxy had feared war. But Earth had shown something worse. Control without violence. Power without permission. Back in the council chamber, one final meeting was held. No arguments. No shouting. Just questions. No one dared answer then. Historian Roland, now the oldest being in recorded space, stood. One last time. He looked around the room and spoke softly. The galaxy did not lose to Earth. It lost to its own pride. Then he placed his books on the table, removed his council badge, walked away, and far beyond the noise of it all. On a moon lit by 3 stars, a child sat drawing in the dirt. She drew a flag, blue and green, a white star. When her mother asked, "Where did you see that?" the child only smiled. "In my dream," she said. "They said we should never forget again." Juno Vex sat beside Kale at the edge of Earth's sky platform, watching new stars rise. She spoke without looking at him. "Do you think they understand now?" Kale didn't answer right away. He simply watched 100 distant ships turn away from Earth's orbit and begin their slow journey home. "They will," he said at last, "or they'll disappear trying." The core AI inside Earth's deepest vault recorded its final note, a line written in thousands of languages. The galaxy spoke. Earth listened, and when it was time, Earth answered. On that day, nothing exploded. No battles were fought, no cities burned, but something far greater happened. The galaxy went silent, and in that silence, a truth was carved into the stars. Don't fear Earth's voice. Fear the day it stops speaking.